Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. You might notice from my last video that I don't have anything behind me. It's pretty much just a blank guest room slash office in my house. And today we're going to do an episode of Buy Once, Cry Once with a company called Hold Up Displays. They're based out of Wisconsin, I believe, and they make a aluminum slat wall style display wall for firearms. And I figured, because I talk a lot about firearms on this particular channel, or I intend to, I thought I should have a background for you guys that kind of displays everything in my collection to give a nice little background and some eye candy while I'm talking to you guys. Today we're going to install the Hold Up Displays slat wall system in my home office behind me. I'm going to do a little time lapse and show you how each step is performed and completed. Before we get into any of that, I just need to give you guys the full disclosure. I do not have any relationship with Hold Up Displays. I have never met them. I've only spoken to them on email to ask about a couple products before purchasing them. I purchased my entire slat wall system for $647.38, including shipping and insurance. And I will show you how simple it is to install, set up, and customize. To install the slat wall system behind me, I'm going to need some basic tools. I'm going to need a drill, I'm going to need a 3/16 bit, I'm going to need a Phillips driver to install the screws into the studs, I'm going to need a 4-foot level, I'll need a small hammer and a punch for marking holes in the actual slot wall when I drill them, a tape measure, a pencil, and that pretty much covers it. I'm looking at my display of tools over here. I'm going to put a drop cloth behind me because I am going to be doing some drilling. I've also got a piece of scrap wood so that when I'm drilling through a panel, and these are the panels, by the way, they are aluminum. They have they stack, okay. So this is one of the panels from Hold Up Displays. The nice thing about these is they are completely modular. You might notice that they are channeled, I guess that would be the best word. Yeah, channeled. There's a little tab up here and a slot down here so that when you get multiple of these panels, they literally stack on top of each other in the channels, and then the displays themselves have these little hooks that go in and secure against this panel. So when I'm drilling for the studs through this aluminum, I'm going to be putting down a piece of scrap wood so that I don't drill into my carpet and so that I don't drill into my tarp or my drop cloth. So I'll be doing all that in here so I don't have to keep walking out to the garage and back and forth and back and forth. So for me, that's going to be the simplest solution to do it here in this small office, is to use a large drop cloth and a piece of scrap wood. So what we're going to do first is we're going to install, or measure, I should say, and level off the first slat wall, which is going to be a upper shelf and not attached to the rest of the main slat wall. It's actually going to go all the way up in the top of the corner. So we're gonna mock that up, draw it out. Oh, one other tool. Last tool you will need to install a slat wall system is a simple stud finder. If you can't find and locate the studs in your drywall, this thing will have absolutely no load-bearing capacity, and all of your equipment will pull the drywall straight off of your wall and collapse onto the floor the first time you hang a few display items onto it. So everything on this must be secured to studs. Behind me, my studs are oddly spaced at 18 inches, but these are 48 inches wide, so that will give me 3 studs per slot with a total of 6 of these to stack. So I'm going to have one section that is 30 and a half inches tall by 48 inches wide, and then one that's about 11 inches above that, which is just a single panel right here, all the way at the top of the crown, that will hold a wire mesh shelf to stack ammo cans and things above my display. That way the barrels of the firearms do not interfere with the upper shelf. So what we're going to do first is we're going to level up this, draw a line across the wall, find our studs, and then we're going to transfer those measurements off the wall onto this panel and begin drilling. Okay, so right out of the gate, already found an issue. So my studs are not 18 inches apart. That would be convenient, right? They're 24 inches apart, which means they're at the very edges of this. I just marked in the center the 24-inch line, which is dead center of this, which is where this stud is, and it falls straight down. It is 24 inches to each side. So I'm hoping that the stud is wide enough that I can catch each stud on the ends, because like I said, they are pretty much right on the edges of the corners, but I think I can catch both and do it with the center. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with drilling just the center ones, put it on studs, and then drill through the wall and see what I can catch, if that makes sense, without drilling everything. I want to kind of do some exploratory drilling, if that makes any kind of sense. So I'm going to start with center punching these, drilling a hole through it, and then screwing it to the wall, see what we catch. I've drilled all 6 panels. I've actually installed the top one already. I caught the middle stud and I was able to catch the two outer studs as well. And I'm going to have about an little over an 11-inch gap before I start the next panel. So I'm actually going to start at the bottom and stack them up. Quick little tip. If you have one, transfer punches are really helpful to do this. They give you a drill stop, which is basically just a little piece of plastic. And my transfer punch happens to fit that exactly, and then I can center it in the channel and give it a good whack. That way the drill bit won't wander when it's trying to find purchase to make a nice hole. Also make sure your drill bit is sharp or it will wander no matter what, and it won't cut very well through the aluminum. I was lucky my drill bits are nice and sharp, and the transfer punch with this particular drill stop helped me really align all. Drilled all 6 panels on the corners, on the centers. So this is the direct center line, 24 inches, and these are just the outer edges. Again, using the drill stop as a edge guide so that I could get it as close to the edge without going over as possible, while still being able to angle in and grab a portion of the studs on the very outer edges. So we're going to get it ready for installation. Now, we're going to install this with a level along the bottom line that I've already drawn up here. I've measured from the floor 31 3/4 inches, leveled that off, and that's where we're going to start. Again, we're going to put a level on this. I'm going to drill through the center to get the studs, then I'm going to align it, and then I'll do the outer edges, and then I'm going to pull the whole thing off and actually drill pilot holes for the stud, so the wood screws have a lot easier time punching through and not slipping on the bit and tearing up the screw and getting everything purchased and installed. So 5 panels will be installed here shortly. Well, it's installed, it's level, it's secured to all the studs, and the last thing to do is to install the side trim that basically like end caps, and there's these little clips that install on each individual slotted holder. I'm not going to install those yet because I am going to play around with the layout of it for a little bit before I decide what's permanent, but really like. So this is the finished product, all done. Pretty happy with it. Really like the mesh shelf up at the top. I've got 3 ammo cans up there and 2 backpacks. The backpacks are actually fully loaded full of gear. The ammo cans are fully loaded full of rifle rounds. It holds quite a bit. Obviously, you had to make sure you got studs on that, but that wire mesh shelf is incredibly sturdy. I really like the configurable design of this particular slat wall. You can get a full gun display bundle for just under $500, but it has a 6-rack rifle system, which I don't have 6 rifles, so I decided to choose and select all my own display options based on the gear that I own and wanted to display. So behind me, I've got my VP9L with my red dot. I've got 2 suppressors on the wall. I've got an HK MP5. Unfortunately, it is airsoft. I am looking for an actual SP5 to do a short barrel rifle on. My HKP30 is currently at an engineer's house because we are developing a very cool product. Stay tuned for that. Additionally, my father's flight helmet from his F-15, he retired. I got all his old gear. I thought it would be really cool to display since I don't yet have a ballistic helmet or night vision device. When I do, that will replace the flight helmet. I've got my CBRN mask on the shelf. I've got my SR15 16-inch. I've got my Warsport LVO-AC in the middle, and then I've got my Knights Armament SR15 11.5 short-barreled rifle on the end there. Additionally, magazine racks for both rifle and pistol, and my plate carrier with my Haley Strategic Micro. I think it looks really good, very happy, cleared up a lot of closet space, and really enjoy the way it looks. When my friends come over, we can certainly talk about guns, and this is also where I do a majority of my dry fire, my home office, and where I record all of my YouTube videos. So this is a studio, an office, and now a display. Do I think hold-up displays are worth the asking price for something that is eye candy? 100%. I absolutely think that the quality of this particular product, the versatility, the customization, the ease of installation, well worth the asking price. In my opinion, looks much, much cleaner than pegboard or slot board that I've seen people use. I think that looks very homemade. I think this looks very professional. I could see this in a gun store behind a counter, and I love having it in my home. So if you're looking for something to display your firearms at home, look no further than hold-up displays, and buy once, cry once. Thanks for subscribing. See you later.